Previously on Why We Marry the Wrong Person.
When I was getting a divorce, I looked up, me and my person didn't agree. He was like, you can't marry the wrong person.
In 5, 4, 3, 2.
The fourth reason that I think we sometimes marry the wrong person is because we stopped being curious about them a long time ago and we assumed we knew who they were. And then when you get married to them, you're like, excuse me, miss or sir, who are you? You're annoying. I don't like you. And we should stop this whole thing.
I don't like where this is going. Stop!
I feel like this content is kind of heavy, so I needed to make it funny. But seriously, I feel like when you start to just get used to your partner and you think you know everything about them, you miss out on big opportunities to like keep being their friend, keep dating them. Your partner should always be your girlfriend, should always be your boyfriend, should always be your partner. Like your partners, you agree to forever. Like it does not have to be a struggle. It should not. You should be having fun with them. You chose to like live with them and do life with them. So you should stay curious and stay getting to know them and enjoy them thoroughly, because that's who you claim you love and you want to do forever with. So don't ever make the mistake of thinking you know who they are, because you never know what type of life event could happen and it can change them. They don't even know who they are. You don't even know who you are. You think you do. You know yourself as much as you possibly can with the knowledge that you have today. But you could learn something new and be like, wow, I've been doing that for years. That's not normal. I want to stop. And then just become somebody else. Your mother, I know that nobody likes to think about their parents dying, but your mother or your father or your grandparent, somebody dear to you who you love closely could die, and that can turn you into somebody else.
Sirens.
You could lose someone you love dearly and find out that you do not like who they become. Yes, of course you should, stay with them, but you never know what could come out of them once they lose a loved one. Like they could start getting abusive. They could start just being so depressed that they do nothing, and it's really hard on you, and you might not be able to tolerate that. You can't predict stuff like that. So no matter what happens in your relationship, as life happens, as people pass on, as you guys go through struggles, like you guys may have met during a time in your life where you were financially stable. One of you could, God forbid, lose a job. And that person could turn evil, mean, irritable, and you'd be like, whoa, who are you? Just things like that can happen. And if you aren't willing to stay curious, stay getting to know them, stay compassionate and loving and patient with your partner, you're gonna end up getting a divorce, or, because you're just not ahead of time thinking like they're not gonna be the same person. You should always stay curious. And I feel like when you lose your curiosity too soon, you end up marrying the wrong person, because it's like, oh shoot, I don't even know you because I stopped caring about getting to know you deeply because I just thought I did. And then once you do get to know them, you realize, I don't like who I'm learning. Point number 5. Take a break because I forgot.
5 minutes later.
You've failed to pay attention to the red flags before you got married. Sometimes when you stop being curious and you kind of like settle and give up, you just either accept and surrender, like these are the red flags, maybe I deserve how this person acts, or maybe you think this is the best you can do, or whatever it is, or you're so in love that you're like, oh, even though, I'm getting gaslighted all the time, or if you don't know what gaslighting means, basically it's a form of emotional abuse where somebody makes you feel crazy all the time about being yourself. It's basically somebody who makes your reality seem like it's not happening. And they may say things like, you're so sensitive, you're so crazy, that didn't happen. And you're just like, oh, whatever, like maybe I am, or whatever. Like you ignore the fact that maybe, you know, your partner always, you and your partner spend so much time apart, and maybe you don't like it and you never voice your opinion, and you guys have too much space, or you guys have too much closeness, and maybe you think that's great and dandy, but when you get married, things change. And I feel like when you're assuming and you think you're so in love, or it's the beginning of your relationship, you just ignore red flags because you love them so much and you think like they'll change, they'll grow out of it. I think it's important to stop having that mindset of they'll change, they'll grow out of it. If your partner is doing something that you do not like, you should say something, because they might not change, they might not grow out of it. And if you never say anything, they'll never know that whatever they're doing is hurting you or bothering you or affecting your mental health. So start speaking up for your sake and your peace, so that maybe they'll change, maybe they won't. But if they don't change and who they are you can't accept, sadly, you can love somebody and choose that in love. You can't be a couple. Maybe you guys can transform the relationship into friendship one day, but if they're red flags, sometimes a red flag for you isn't a red flag for somebody else, and that's okay. But if who your partner naturally is too much for you, leave before you get married. But if you're already married, I think that's part of why we get married sometimes. We think somebody's gonna change. We think one day they'll listen and, like, you know, or you are like, oh, you keep giving them chance after chance after chance after you do communicate, and you're like waiting for them to change. They might not. And if you're not okay with just who they are and accept the flaws that they have, and you can't tolerate the flaws that they have, maybe that's not your person. So ignoring red flags and suppressing how you really feel is definitely a reason why I think we sometimes marry the wrong person. And the closer, the sixth and final, you know, point that I'm gonna make today is we marry, the overarching thing that I think this one encompasses is we marry the wrong person because at that time, with the information we know, we think that's what's best for us, because maybe none of us has ever seen a healthy relationship. We do not know what is best for us sometimes. And sometimes we get married because if you're anything like me, the old little, you know, grandmas in my life told me, you know, men cheat. Just pick one who you can tolerate. But he'll probably cheat on you because that's just what they do. Or, but don't marry nobody who beats you up though. Like, hands down. If he beats you up, leave. So that was pretty much the only advice I got, So anybody who just didn't fight me, for sure a winner. I should accept the offer and consider them, you know. And if you did anything extra, that was the bare minimum, I was like, oh, this is probably healthy, you know. Nobody ever taught me about emotional abuse. Nobody ever taught me about, I mean, this is forms of emotional abuse can be like, you know, gaslighting that I mentioned before, being manipulative, or, you know, neglecting you. You guys spend too much time apart. He never listens to you when you talk, or you guys don't talk enough. Like, and being told to literally accept cheating because men just do that. That's so sad. And I'm sure there are men who do not cheat. I mean, it exists. I've been with men who do not cheat, but sometimes because I was always expecting it, I was jealous or picky, or like being really mean if they had friends that were girls, because I was like, I don't trust that that's just your friend, because my family line warned me, like, men can't be trusted around other women. And sometimes we can just project stuff on people. And sadly, until you start to learn what a healthy relationship looks like, you will just accept the better than whatever you saw. And that's not really your fault when you're growing up, but as you become an adult, it is your responsibility to learn better and do better. And I think that you watching a video like this and joining and being a part of and staying around to watch more videos that I make, this is a piece of you choosing to learn better and do better. My whole purpose of this channel is to help and teach people going forward how to have a healthy relationship, as I learned what healthy relationships are. I love relationships, I love love, and I love learning and teaching people about how to have a healthy sex and love life, and that is what I plan to do for you. So yeah, that is why we marry the wrong people. We don't know what we don't know until we know better, and I hope that this list of things helped you, and I wish you the best on whatever you decide in your love life. Till next time.